Welcome to the iNetrepreneur Radio Show. We are so honored to bring you your host, the ultimate celebritypreneur, connecting businesses and celebrities worldwide. Winner of the Networking Organization of the Year, best-selling author, magazine publisher, trainer, and owner and founder of Network Together and the iNetrepreneur Media Network for magazines, TV, and radio network. We're excited to bring you your host, Mr. Robert W. Jones.
Oh my goodness. Hello, everyone. It's so good to be back after a 2-week hiatus. For some of you out there, you know that I live in Phoenix, Arizona, which they call the land of the oven. So and we've been baking until the last few days, and it's been such an amazing reprieve. I got up, it was 78 degrees. I went out into my garden and all the plants looked like they were doing the happy dance, at least what's left of them. So I'm Robert Jones. Robert W. Jones is my best friend, one of my best friends and buddies. Buddy Thornton likes to say, this is the Art of Connection, the iNetrepreneur Network, and this is the iNetrepreneur Network radio show. I'm really excited. We are coming down to the end of the Art of Connection book page sales for the Art of Connection book series for volume 4, which is 365 days of gratitude, 365 days of gratitude. We have sold out of all of our reserved pages in the book, but we do have some pages left for $149, and the retail rate's $500. But we have some pages left at $149. You can go to 365 days of gratitudequotes.com. That's 365 days of gratitudequotes.com. Click on the little thing that says, I don't know, like buy my page or something like that. And, just put in the coupon code Robert, and guess what? It will take $248 off of the sale price of $397. And so, become an international best-selling author in a world-class book series called The Art of Connection. We'd love to have you there. Also, I want to remind everyone, like us on Facebook. It's facebook.com/iNetrepreneur Radio. Yes, I know it's a tough name. It's a lot to spell. Take a picture of it and then bookmark it. You'll always get back there if you bookmark our Facebook page. Also, you can like us on YouTube at youtube.com/iNetrepreneur Radio as well. Subscribe to our magazines. We produce 2 magazines. One of them is the iNetrepreneur Network magazine, or iNetRepreneurMagazine.com, and thecontemporarywoman.com. And my goodness, 2 weeks away, I can't even say our own company's name. Oh my goodness. Also, we have NT Events. That's ntevents.net. Please go there to look for our pop-up events, our academies, our summits, our book launches, radio shows, so much fun, our meetings, and so much more. I mean, we have 1,000 of them per year, so we have a lot of stuff going on. And really, that is the scheduling Bible for me, because people ask me what's going on in the week for the iNetrepreneur Network, and I said, let me check. Let me go to ntevents.net, and I'll check that out for you. And so I'm really excited today because I have 3 amazing guests, and I'm going to bring on my first guest right now, the amazing, the wonderful Becky Norwood. Hi, Becky. How are you?
Hello there. How are you, Robert?
I'm doing. See, you got my name right. We're both doing that right now. Well, Becky, thank you so much for being on the show today. I mean, how are you surviving after this, kind of a long, hot summer?
I was thinking about, I lost so many of my potted plants this year. It was just really sad. And a couple of trees just could not take this heat. But I looked out the front yard today, and 2 of the bushes are just in full bloom. And I'm saying, yes, it's just so wonderful.
Oh, I felt the same way. I was like, oh my goodness, it's like the plants are coming alive. It's like I hear the sound of music playing in the background, as I go out there and I feel all of us. Again, I want everyone to know that I'm with Becky Norwood of Spotlight Publishing House. You can please connect with her at Becky@spotlightpublishinghouse.com, or call her. She's so brave at 623-810-1279. Again, that's 623-810-1279. Becky, you and I, we go back quite a long ways, don't we? When it, at least for me, you were the initiator really of my publishing journey. And I always get so excited when I get to talk to you a little bit about the publishing journey. And, a couple of things that we always, we really, really drive at is we like to uncover this crazy veil of publishing, and, I always feel like, when I think of where we've come from and I think of like, going to the house, there's the door. And it's just like you open that door and you really don't know what that expectation is going to be when you walk through it. And so is the case of publishing, isn't it?
Oh, very much so. And and it's an ever-changing world too.
And some of the ever-changing things is we're going to do this on another show and segment, because we could take over the segment, and that is the role of what AI plays in what we have as publishing now. But see, here's what I want to concentrate on a little bit. I'm going to concentrate on the art of connection, and I want to really concentrate on the art of the author's heart. And I say that so much of the time with the people that I work with is you can add knowledge even to everything and make amazing, but the one missing element, if you don't have it, is that author's heart. Tell me a little bit about how do you drive so much magic out of your authors' hearts to create such compelling stories from them?
To me, the art of storytelling and bringing story to life is really the lifeblood of any book.
Mhm.
And if we're doing this right, and I'll mention AI very briefly, AI can never capture our hearts and our stories. They can reword them, they can do all kinds of things to them, but we are the only ones that can initiate that. And without storytelling, we don't connect. We don't really reach hearts. And that's what my passion is. Storytelling's been with us since the beginning of time. And it has impacted lives for since the beginning of time. So we don't want to lose that gift that we have with storytelling. And every one of us have our own unique story. And so for me, when I work with an author, it's asking him the questions to really drill down into that. What is that story? How can we share that story in a way that's going to connect the hearts?
Well, and when people, they ask me, storytelling, they hear that word a lot, and sometimes it's almost like, what does that mean when you talk about storytelling? How can this apply to my business book? How can I apply this to my life book? How can I apply this to maybe the audience that I'm trying to convey a message to? But I think one of the things that you really taught me is the story. It helps convey thoughts, doesn't it? It's those stories that help me kind of maybe even place me in a way where I can even draw upon, experiences in my life to make what it is being told about real. Would you agree with that?
I very much do. And I find that for most of my authors that I work with, it is those stories that brought them to do the work that they're doing in the world today.
Mm-hmm.
And we get better at telling those stories when we want to really reach hearts, and convey a message. And as we learn our own business even better,
Mm-hmm.
that art of storytelling gets richer and richer and richer. It becomes something that, if I pick up a book and I start to read it and it's just facts and figures, I'll put it down. I don't want any part of it. I want something where I can have something that I can relate to and really get drawn in to what it is that this book, the reason I picked up this book. If we don't do that, we can't really teach, we can't lead, we can't be the impactful influencers that we need to be. And our world needs influencers, good influencers.
I totally agree. And one thing I heard recently, and I really enjoyed what they said. They said that, authors are speakers and speakers are authors. And it really reminded me, and I'm not sure that every author thinks that they're going to turn into a speaker, and every speaker thinks that they're going to turn into an author. But when I thought about that, I thought, if you do combine them, it creates a real powerful framework to create exposure for the speaker if they're doing books, and vice versa. It creates, if they're an author, being able to speak helps them, create exposure for that book. So they work in tandem or in concert, don't they?
Absolutely. And you'll find that you can actually repurpose a lot of the things that you speak from the stage. If you record it, that gives you really good material to get written, transcribed and written into your book as part of that. Some of us do better speaking than writing, and some of us it's the other way around. But both are such powerful tools. And once we really get so clear on our message and our purpose and what we want to bring to the world, then the more we do it, the better we get at it, and the more influence and the more impact we can make.
Yeah, in another place, and because it really is all about, creating impact. And much of the time we can create impact by ourselves solely, like an island, or we can create impact as a community. And that was what was so amazing when you and I worked together, because we didn't work on a solo project together. We actually worked on a community project, a community project that had 365 pages in it that created a 2.1 pound book. And and a lot of people, they're stuck in like this old school thought of, entrepreneurs think they need to be entrepreneurs. And you and I both know that an entrepreneur is very different than an entrepreneur author. An entrepreneur, is someone who's an author and they make their money off of that book, and they try to become an entrepreneur by selling other things from their book writing. Whereas an entrepreneur, they don't really make their money off the book itself. They're making the money off what they excel in. What are some of the distinguishing factors that you see between an authorpreneur and an entrepreneur author?
Well, I think that the entrepreneur author, they're using a book as a tool, and they may have a coaching program, they may be teaching on webinars, they may have a course, they may have any number of things. And the book expands the reach, but the book itself is used as a tool to gain exposure. And what blessed position we are in today, where we have the Amazons of the world and the different publishing things that we can do to expand our reach. Because when I publish for an author, it goes worldwide. It has a worldwide reach. And who knows, but somebody in Israel maybe pick up your book and say, I want to work with this person. So I encourage my authors to tap into every single thing they have available to them, including putting a video in the book for every single chapter to recap the goodness of it. Then the reader is hearing your voice, the inflection, the tone. You can add an extra little bit of juicy nuggets, a little bit of story. And that's what says, oh my goodness, I want to work with this person. And maybe you are the only one that they would ever connect to, because maybe your story is just enough alike theirs, or something they're really striving for, the reason they picked up that book, something they need for themselves. And here they found somebody that can impart that to them.
I'm always such an advocate of that, because to me, you can read the words, but when you can breathe personality into those words as well, they become even more impactful and they become even more memorable, which is very important. That's as an author, that's what is like kind of like the Holy Grail, is being remembered. But here we are, and we're just traveling, through the books and everything. And one of the things is being called probably for a book, is that what I'm looking for is, I'm looking at collaborative books, and other business owners are looking at collaborative books, and they're looking at collaborative books as a way to also self-express, but kind of self-express within a tribe. tell us, like The Art of Connection, which is a collaborative book, why are so many entrepreneurs and even authors starting to decide on being a part of collaborative books instead of just writing solo books?
Solo books take a lot of time and a lot of work. There's a lot of pieces that have to be put together to bring a book to the world. And I find collaborative books, because everybody that's in a collaborative book should be also marketing that book, telling their friends about it, getting other people to support the actual launch of the book. And so it has this ripple effect out much farther reach than a single book often does. Not that a single book doesn't have reach. It does have magnificent reach, especially if the author has put the time into building a solid launch team and getting endorsements. But when a collaboration, it is exactly what that is. Everybody's collaborating together. And it's that connection points, not only for the further the reach, but also for the collaboration for business, for collaboration for friendship, collaboration for we are doing this together. And there's such a uniting factor that's along with that.
And it really is, because there becomes a tethering point.
Mm-hmm.
Because what you're happening is that like with The Art of Connection, it's I consider it being a heart, a heart space, a like-minded space, an entrepreneurial place where we're supplying knowledge to the world. And the entrepreneurs that come in there and they sign off on that concept, they're already in not only the space of giving back, but a collaborative space and a communicative space where we start doing things together. And, and that's where this community grows. And, there is a certain amount of, in the Marines, we call it esprit de corps, between those authors, because all of a sudden, you're not that island anymore. You're really a collective. And, and I've been reading, Becky, I've been reading some things, through like Entrepreneur Magazine, and I believe it was Forbes and, a couple of other magazines. And they were talking about, that, large scale collaborative books for entrepreneurs are actually the networking groups of the future, because of the fact that it binds us so much. And because of the fact, it's not just, power teams, what it is it's advocation teams where we really do work together. Have you seen that as well?
Very much. Business wise, there can be so many things, so many people that are in that same book where what they're offering is something exactly what you need. And so you kind of connect together, and what they're offering could benefit the people that you serve. And so then we have a referral basis as well. And, so there's many different angles that you can look at a collaboration book for that kind of networking, if you will, but also the being able to connect and help to grow and create a situation where many people benefit, because I know I have this person I can depend on for this thing, and I know I have that person that we've created an amazing friendship and we grow from it. But we're also able to say to those that we serve, hey, this person would be an amazing person for you to connect with. And so it goes that way. It's really fun to see how that works together.
It really is. Everyone, I am with Becky Norwood. I'm an amazing, amazing, amazing publisher, heart-centered publisher. But you know what? I like to say she gets stuff done. So, so when you work with Becky, she gets stuff done. She's with Spotlight Publishing House. You can please connect with her at Becky at spotlightpublishinghouse.com, or call her. She's brave enough to call her at 623-810-1279. Again, that's 623-810-1279. Becky, anything special to offer, or is there other ways that we can get a hold of you?
There's my website, spotlightpublishinghouse.com. Same for Facebook. I have a page there, Spotlight Publishing House. I'm on LinkedIn. I'm kind of all over the place. I would like to offer, there's a beautiful something that I put together just recently, and it's 99 ways to launch and market your book. And I will put that up on my website so that I didn't think about it before right now, but I
No,
will.
I love it. You see, hey, you're improvising here, and I love that you're calling the audible, right? So also, put it on our comments area, and so people can link, they can link to it
Okay.
from the show here. Go ahead and put it in there. But Becky, thank you so much for being on the show. I appreciate you. You are the best.
Well, and I deeply appreciate what you and Sean do and bring to the world, and all the wonderful ways that people have been able to grow and connect simply because of the work that you and Sean are doing.
Well, I'm glad someone's noticing that. Thank you. Becky, have a great day.
You too, and thank you.
See, I should have said it before. Isn't Becky Norwood the definition of cool? So if you want a cool publisher, please contact Becky Norwood. She is awesome. And speaking of awesome, I would be remiss if I didn't say we have a queen of awesomeness who's going to be coming on to the show here in just a second. And so I'm not going to give away, Arizona is the land of the oven, but we have another area in the country which is known for the land of, and I'm going to let her explain that right now. Nefertiti, how are you doing? Welcome to the show. Oh, you are on mute.
Okay, let's try this again. A little glitch sometimes happens. You love technology until it doesn't work. Anyways, here we are live from the land of the wicked awesome living. Super thrilled to be here sharing this space with you and bringing that out of connection, because that's how we do it.
I would agree with you 110%. I want to let everyone know that I'm with Nefertiti San Miguel of Etnia Fusion. Am I saying that right?
Yes,
Etnia
you got it
Fusion.
perfect.
Okay. I just wanted to make sure because we were working on our spelling faux pas, before the show. And she is you can connect with her at Nefertiti .freites@gmail.com. That's FREYTES.com, or call her at 561. You're brave as well. I love that. 561
312-6619.
All right. Thank you so much for that. I appreciate that. It's like, but wait.
I want to make sure.
Wait for it. Nefertiti, I'm going to say this right here on the show today. You really came into my life and Sean's life like this nuclear explosion of abundance, positivity, and amazingness. And I say that because getting to know you is getting to know you is really getting to know someone who's taken the hardships of life and making beauty out of those hardships and growing from them and having the resolute to not hide from them, but to choose to take those things and actually teach others so they can take the hardships out of their lives and learn to live free and to love again. And that's what I really enjoy about you, is because you help people create abundance, Nefertiti. And I don't know where that came from. I don't know if it was nurture or nature or a little bit of both, but tell us how you came to this point, and why are you so passionate about helping others?
There are so many layers of life history, experiences, and content. Most of my life, I was chronically depressed due to toxic environment. I nowadays joke about it, but I'm serious about it too. I grew up earning an honorary PhD in toxic relationships and toxic environment. And because I know better, I can curate my environment better and I can show the blind spots to other people to learn better and enhance their quality of life. I learned the hard way that there's no true success without inner peace. And unless you claim the hard times and the traumatic experience, you cannot own your present and craft a beautiful future because those things haunt you 24/7. And you have to make your peace with those episodes in your life that don't serve you and release them out by a way of self-expression and a way to master your emotions and release those negative feelings that they stand on the doorway to success. And I found that possible while I was on a search to holistic approach to my chronic depression. I didn't like what it was available out there in the market. A relationship codependent with a therapist or a shrink or pharmaceutical products, it was terrifying to me and it was not even an option. And everything else that it was out there, it seems to me very lame. It might work for some people, but it just didn't match the bill for my quest. And by trial and error and experimenting, I got into behavioral neuroscience and I call it my holy grail. Now I intertwine that with Ikebana, which is the Japanese art of floral artistry. And that combination is so beautiful and so abundant in all different ways. And it doesn't discriminate. You can do it anytime, anywhere, with no resources. And how you do one thing is how you do everything. So again, based in behavioral neuroscience, you start priming your brain to be creative, to be resourceful, and to sharp up all those problem solving skills. And that's my mission.
Yeah. And so, you know, I was once in the Marines. I've done 2 church missions. I've been a programmer. I've worked in corporations. It seems like a lifetime ago I'd led this other life. But it seemed, especially as I started going into corporation, I was in like 20 years in, it just always felt like there was blankets just falling on me and falling on me and falling on me, and everything became harder. Walking was harder, getting out of bed was harder. My thoughts became harder to flow through my mind, and a lot of that is, a form of depression. A lot of that is a form of being stymied. A lot of that is really starting to, it creeps up on you, where all of a sudden, like a ship that goes off course, you become a person of self-doubt. And then all of a sudden you have to counteract it with ego on the outside to seem like this different person. And, what I love about what you do is you rip away, you blast away, you tear away through a certain amount of beauty, even with men and women, the inner self of who they really are, and bringing those gifts back to life. That's how I look at what you do, Nefertiti.
Thank you. And it is a great pleasure because, like I mentioned earlier in the conversation, this art form, this modality, it doesn't discriminate. It's very inclusive. It can be done by any age, any gender. And actually, the origins of Ikebana, it was dated back in the days of the samurai classes and even before that. And it was practiced by high-rank priests and monks. And back in those days, it was only allowed to be practiced by male gender. It was in more contemporary times that it came available to females as an art form, and now it's a lot of time looked at it as a feminine art form. But if you look into the Japanese landscape, Ikebana is considered one of the three arts of refinement. And some of the most prolific and high profile strategies in the military, they will use Ikebana to keep their intuition on point, to be better strategists, to be more in sync with the environment, and perform better when those times of high pressure will come around, because they do come around. And
Yes.
I love working with the male demographic because you just see the before and after, and it's delightful. I enjoy working with the veteran community as well as doing library presentations, because it brings a different perspective to a wider audience, and that's my passion. Actually, I got a call today
Well,
from a local library inquiring
yeah.
about it.
Well, it's amazing to me because I did not know you when I started the process of coming out with the fourth book. And part of the process of coming out with the fourth book, I feel like there's this divine energy that flows through all the universe. And I do believe that we're all connected. And we are a part. We cannot be a part of the universe that we reside in. There is a spiritual, I call it Gus, of connection, God, universe, spirit, and source. And I remember back and I thought, well, what should be this fourth book called? We had networking, the first book to bring people back together after COVID. Then it was inspiration and transformation. And I brought out this old movie, Nefertiti, and, it was really cool. And I was sitting there, I was watching it, and, I love the Japanese culture. I practice Aikido. And in this scene, there was Tom Cruise, and he was learning about the beauty of the cherry blossom. And I thought, right there, here are these military masters in this beautiful garden, and they're talking the art of strategy and war, but yet they're also talking about the beauty, the honor, the sincerity, the truthfulness of war, and a representative of that was the cherry blossom. Hence, the cover of the book is the cherry blossom. And when I met you, I thought, wow, I'm going to know this person forever. So she's just going to have to, tolerate me. So, and it really made me think about that and what you said, because the original florists in the world were men. And, and it was a true art form, because it was one of the ways for us to create a holistic release of the scars of battle. And, in even if someone's not in the military, people also have scars of life. And that's who you also help, is people who have those scars of life, so they can reach their own fulfillment. Isn't that correct?
Yes. And it's great pleasure to see the before and after.
Mm-hmm.
Even if it's a simple 2-hour workshop, I constantly get showered with praises and thank you notes, and you can see how lively the people leave the venue, and full of pride, taking their final project home to show to loved ones. And it's such a rewarding activity. I love delivering smiles and making the world a better place with my craft. So I feel very abundant, very fortunate, because not too many people get to do their passion as their income and their livelihood. And I feel very, very fortunate to be in that category.
Another thing I want to ask you, because, I like to speak of life force, and people, there's life force all around this, but one of the most beautiful life forces of all are the florals. Tell me about, florals and life force, and why do the florals matter so much and should matter so much to all of us?
I can write a solo book on the topic.
I know.
And I'm going to go quickly on some highlights. You connect better not only with your intuition and your inner child and your creativity, but also with the creative force of the universe as well as nature. You are going to be more creative, you're going to be more intuitive, you're going to be more resourceful. Also, you're going to connect better with loved ones. And it doesn't matter what is your background, whether you are a stay-home mother who likes to entertain people over the holidays, or you are an executive at a high-profile organization, because you can wow factor your way into new relationships and your VIP people. Also, if you are grieving, which it has been my case recently, I lost 3 loved ones due to cancer between February 2021 and February this year. And I had peace because even the ones that they were living abroad, I was able to connect through flowers. I will make a floral arrangement thinking about them, take a digital image and send virtual flowers their way, and they will receive it. And it was intentional. It was specially crafted from me to them. And up to the last minute until they departure to the next stage in their energy journey, we were connected through floral design and that love and affection being shown through flowers. Also, it showcased the beauty of all different 4 seasons that we experience every year. And that's like life. Sometimes you have a winter in business, sometimes everything is blooming like in the springtime. So there are a lot of metaphors and analogies that they are very appropriate to be inspired by the art of floral artistry. And I can keep going, but I know that we are short on time, so I'm going to
well, I mean, but see, the thing is, it's interested because if it wasn't for the art of connection and connecting, especially the last decade or so that I've been with people, I wouldn't be who I am now. I wouldn't have the understanding of naturopathic medicine. I wouldn't have the understanding of what Reiki is. I wouldn't have the understanding of aromatherapy and oils. I'm going to be 59 years old, and in many ways, all this beauty that is around me, it keeps me not just sane, it actually keeps me vibrant, both in my mental space, my spiritual space, and certainly my physical space. And what's really crazy in the time that I have become more a part of nature. I have become more a part of going out into the grass and feeling the earth, and getting my hands a little dirty. And, quite frankly, it is my sanity, Nefertiti. It is my sanity. And there is an enjoyment that I have never had in my life. And I think it really is because, so often as entrepreneurs, we feel like we have to become this something. But we don't. We already are that something. And that's how this matters to me. And, and I also look at florals as well. And, when you start looking down at the beauty of florals, and I worked in a floral shop, so I never told you that before, the amazing thing about florals are like people. Each one has its own personality, don't they?
Yes, they have their own character, they have their own beauty, and it's a different kind of cultivation. It's a beautiful thing.
And each one can create a whole different vibrancy individually, and as you put florals together, because and this is what I love about florals, and I'm getting goosebumps just talking about this. And I know it's not the book, and I know it's not like making $1 million, but man, I'm getting gooped on this. Okay, what I love about florals is they're the essence of life, and what I mean by that is you have the look, you have the smell, you have the touch. If you want, you can have the taste. And etc. But they bring everything that the universe has gifted us. Just those senses, and to have that in the environment. I think that they spread and create not just a creativeness, but they also create a higher level of vibrancy in every environment that they're offered in. Wouldn't you agree?
Yes, and so much can be added to the conversation. And I'm going to kind of intertwine it with the next beloved guest, Lesley. It increased the vibration.
Mhm.
And we are all connected to vibration. Also, what you don't express, what you suppress, what
Mhm.
you repress, it turns into depression. And a lot of time it goes undetected, and a lot of time turns into a chronic condition, and you are not even aware of it. And
Mm.
that's the reason why I'm so adamant about advocating around behavioral neuroscience, so you can be aware of your thoughts and your feelings and your environment, and also a way of self-expression using floral artistry as therapeutic art, because you are going to release your emotions, you're going to master your emotions by doing a beautiful piece of art. And of course it's going to reflect your mood and also a particular season in your life. Because to give you an example, when I went down into this rabbit hole and I was coming out of depression, I was very gothic and everything was dry and everything was dead.
Mhm.
And this piece back here, it was crafted 3 years ago and it's still looking beautiful. So it brings a different vibe, but also reminds you of a different season and a different stage mentally that you experienced in years past.
Yeah.
It also enhances the beauty of the resources that you have in your environment, because let's say that you are in the land of the oven. Well, you get to work with succulents and dry branches and do things with sand, and you get very resourceful, and also you get that connection with the land and what is available to you at a given moment. And that's also one of the reasons why I'm so passionate about it, because you can do it anytime, anywhere, and it doesn't discriminate. I
Yeah.
do classes around
Oh,
engagement. You can do things with a couple of dollars and look like a million, like a billionaire, and rock your style, be generous, and make an everlasting impression going into somebody's life for a space, a business, a holiday celebration. And also what I love the most is that there is no side effect to this. You don't have to wonder about, oh, well, if I take this pill, how's that going to work out with the other pill? This is holistic, it's very sustainable, and it brings happiness and high vibration everywhere you go.
I love that. Nefertiti, I want to make sure that I get this at the end of the segment, because like I'm just listening to you and I don't want to get, you're putting me into those moments of like, oh my goodness, she's going to hypnotize me here. You're doing that stuff, that voodoo magic you do. So I am, I want to thank you for being an author though in the Art of Connection book series as well. And I just, you have very limited time, as we all do, and you're busy and you're passionate about what you do. um, and I'm so grateful that you're in my life. I'm grateful that you're in my wife's life. But you chose to be a part of the book series, The Art of Connection. You chose to fly out here to be with us at the Ultrapreneur, event that we had. And of all the
And get
things,
roasted with you
yeah,
because
and
it
get
was at
roasted with us.
120
And
degrees.
and of all the things that you have had the opportunity to do in your life, you choose to do that. And I not only do I want to thank you for it, let others know why were these your choices to do? Why did you feel compelled to, be a part, in this community, to be a part of the Art of Connection book series and really create such impact with our people, which are your
That
people?
can be a solo book of itself
Oh
too.
no.
I'm gonna keep it short.
I guess yeah.
The title itself sold me in, because the
Wow.
art of connection, we need that, especially in current human history. Everybody's on their own, everybody's depressed, everybody's overstressed, overworked, non appreciated, underpaid. And if you don't take it upon yourself to leave the world a better place than you found it, who's going to do it? Somebody has to take the initiative. And this is such a powerful project because it's simple yet very effective. You don't have to read hundreds of pages to spark up the best in you. You pick a date, You randomly look at what's the day today or what it's for your birthday, and let it be like the fortune cookie. You're gonna get words of wisdom, and you're gonna cheer up and learn something different from somebody new that otherwise you will not come across to their wisdom. And also, not only the quality of the project and the concept, but as well bringing your own flavor into the mix, because you bring your quote and you're going to be remembered by it. And this is something that I don't often say, actually, beside to my monologues. I don't have any family. And that's a question that ponders in my brain at night. How I'm going to be remembered by history, by those quotes and those books being read by teenagers and people getting into new businesses and entrepreneurial endeavors. I get to make my contribution to their life. And that to me is precious. I am so thrilled to be part of this project. And that's the reason why not only I did it once, but I'm going for edition number 4. And I took the field trip to Arizona to roast myself with you guys. That's some serious unconditional
Yes,
love.
you did. And we created some fun out of that, you know. So I just want to thank you so much. I'm with Nefertiti San Miguel of Etnia Fusion by Nefertiti. Please connect with her at nefertiti.freitas@gmail.com or call her at 561-312-6619. Nefertiti, thank you so much for being here today. I appreciate you, and I appreciate what you do for everyone.
Sending you much love and appreciation, and carry on connecting people. The world.
And where are you located? In the land of the
wicked awesome living.
Yes, okay. I had to hear that. Thank you so much, Nefertiti.
Until the next connection, no pun intended, because that's what we do. We go from connection to connection.
Bye-bye.
Great to be here. Thank you.
Wow. How cool is that? One of my publishers, one of my cool kids who knows florals. And now we're going to go to my next new cool, but I'm not one who's a shiny object person. So when I say she's cool, she's going to stay in my phone because she is like the leader, the connector, the good vibrations. Oh man, I'm always thinking like Marky Mark for some reason. You know, I give everyone Lesley Klein. Lesley, thank you so much for being on the show today.
Thank you for the opportunity. This is so exciting.
Yeah, it's like you got to hear me talk a little bit with Becky and a little bit with Nefertiti. And this show is like a box of chocolate. You never know what you're going to get. You never know what the conversation is going to be. And I've always tried to make this show like, if we were just having a conversation on the phone with each other, what would that conversation look like? And, if we were able to take it, who would be able to listen to it? And so that's how I kind of operate my show. And I'm excited to have you on today. I'm with Lesley Klein of good-vibes.tv. Please connect with her at Lesley at good-vibes.tv or call her at 727-423-1224. Again, Lesley, thank you so much for being here today. And, Lesley, we have just gotten to start to know each other, over the course of the last month. And so I really am just like, for you, tell me just a little bit about where are you located and tell me a little bit about how you got into Good Vibes TV.
Okay. Well, currently I'm in Murphy, North Carolina, but I live here only part-time, and then the other half of the year I'm in Florida, which I lived in. I went to high school and college and lived there for the last, I don't know, 20 some years with my husband. Good Vibes TV. Well, when I was in Florida, I had a metaphysical store called Oak Trail Books for about 16 years. Then I had a New Age cafe. It was called The Witch's Brew. We had music and coffee and ice cream, and it was a cool little cafe. And so in, let's see, in 2014, my father passed. In 2018, my mother passed, and then that's when my husband and I started building a home in Murphy, North Carolina, because my dad left me about 1.5 acres of land. It was raw land. We didn't know if we could build on it. So from that time, let's see, 2019, the house was finally built, and it was the end of 2020. Someone reached out to me. I was in a collaboration book, and she reached out to me because of that, and wanted to know if I had an interest in having my own TV talk show. So that started the ball rolling, because I actually have a degree in broadcast production from the University of Florida, and then I have a master's degree from a mass communications degree, master's in mass communication from Towson State University in Maryland. So when I was a bookstore owner, metaphysical bookstore owner, that was brand new. That, before that I was doing television work. And so now I'm kind of coming around full circle. So when that opportunity presented itself, I was like really drawn, because I was like, okay, then that puts all the pieces together, what I went to school for, the knowledge I gained while I had my businesses, and now I have that content. So now I can put it out there, because it's now with technology and YouTube, we have so many, there's so many more opportunities to produce videos and content and put it out there. So that's why I started. And actually, at the time, I had just started with this little device called the Healy, which I don't even know if I've talked to you about, that came out in 2020. And what it does, here's the little gadget. It's from Germany, and it puts out frequencies to help balance and harmonize your body. So that was fresh in my mind when this opportunity presented itself. And so I started creating the show, and I was actually on a different network, and I just started putting it on YouTube this year. And I actually started doing a weekly live stream called Good Vibes Lifestyle. So, I follow my intuition. I follow, I try to listen to the signs, watch for the signs from the universe. I communicate with, source, and try to live my life guided by, the information that I get from spirit. I try to follow my intuition, basically follow my bliss. So that's kind of how it got started, and I'm into season 3, and I'm excited that you will be on my show. We'll be doing the interview in a little while after this, and so so that's pretty much how I got to here.
Well, I have a saying, and my wife has the saying too. We said, if you haven't lived 4 lives by the time you're 50, you just haven't lived life. And, and I really agree with that, because, I listen to Nefertiti, and I know Becky's background, and I even know my background. I was a barista at one time too. And so I worked in a coffee shop, and I used to do poetry slams, and I used to be a professional juggler, Lesley. I used to be a professional juggler and run around the Renaissance fairs, because when I got out of so it wasn't
Did you do fire?
What's that?
Did you juggle fire?
No, no, I didn't juggle fire, but I juggled turkey drumsticks.
Oh,
and that was like the big thing. And so, and so people are like, well, why turkey drumsticks? And I was like, I didn't really start out juggling, drumsticks, and I couldn't do it today because probably the health commission or whatever would shut us down. But what was happening is the vendors found that if I came outside where they were, positioned, and I started juggling their food, more people would buy.
Right.
And then so, all of a sudden I became this really well-fed court jester that was, juggling turkey legs, hanging out
Oh, that's
around
amazing.
Pomona, California, that summer. And so, and
Wow.
it just got to me to thinking. And, when people talk vibration and when they talk about energy and they talk about, what makes me feel good, I've always said it's not just what makes you feel good, it's what makes you live and breathe, because, energies are made, because if everything was just good, there's the blessings, but, sometimes the energy that comes in that's not so good, that's our lessons.
Right.
In our life with our energies is lessons and blessings. Because I have never had, a world-class speaker walk across my stage and go, man, I became great because I had the easiest life ever known. No, they come across the stage and they're like, oh my God, I was living out of a car. My dog left me. I had a bunch of money and I answered a WhatsApp and all of a sudden my bank account was drained. No, I had a dad who he like poured gravy sauce on me as a kid. No, I mean, it was always the tough things that made them great. It wasn't like,
Right.
yeah, I was at home and I used to binge Netflix all the time and I decided to become a world-class speaker. No, I mean, there is something to hardship that creates greatness, isn't there?
Of course. Of course. Um, you know, th- the thing is the way the framework that I use is, talking about the good vibe zone. So I use the map of consciousness scale that Dr. David R. Hawkins created and wrote some books on, and also
Mm.
Esther Hicks Abraham's teachings on the emotional guidance scale. So those talk about the lower vibrations like shame, fear,
Yeah,
guilt, basically fear on the bottom, love at the top. And when we're in that, the idea of the law of attraction is what we vibrate out, what energy we're putting out, what we're focusing our energy
mhm,
on is what will attract to us. That's how we create our reality.
mhm.
So when you're in those lower vibrations, and a lot of times I think these things happen to us, sometimes you have to get to the bottom of the barrel or have the dark night of the soul to face that fear and transmute it. And the key, I think, is loving it. Whatever fear that is, don't keep running away. That
Right.
creates anxiety. We have to embrace it and have compassion for whatever that is. And usually it's our inner child or our some hurt, some trauma, something, some fear that needs to be transmuted and
Yeah,
transmuted with love to a higher vibration. And then when you're in the higher vibration, then you'll attract more like that. So I think once you overcome those things, then you're living in the higher vibe zone. The good vibes lifestyle is what I'm calling it. Yes, you'll have issues happen. Trust me, and I still do. The
yeah,
issues still happen, but
absolutely.
then you have the tools. Okay, how much attention am I going to give this bad thing that happened? How am I going to transmute it? Because, the meaning anything has is the meaning that we give to it. So that's
Right.
where the power lies. And that's from Harvard, um, T. Ecker,
Oh,
what's
yeah,
his
T.
name?
Harv Eker. Yeah.
Right.
Yep.
um, so, it's how we frame things, how our perception, and that we can change.
And I'm an advocate. I have this little thing. I call it nature, nurture, and your noodle. And so it's like, so your noodle is like the heart set mindset construct that we all have. And I'm
Okay.
always like, people ask me, they're like, what makes some people so successful? What makes some people, live their life well? And, is it mindset? And I said, no, it's heart set. I said, if you start with the proper heart set, it will lead your mindset. And if you get your heart set and mindset aligned, then your skill sets will follow because you'll
Mm.
naturally be, utilizing your gifts and living with the way Gus or, God, universe, spirit, source wants you to live. And, the other thing too, is what's so interesting about vibrations and, what I've studied in my field is some of these are actually just, molecularly passed on through DNA as well. And so sometimes,
Mhm.
we bring those into our life. And not only are, do some people, they may be, dealing with some of the nurturing things that they have in their life. They're also, can be dealing with things, which can cause greatness through what they have been gifted from their nature. And that's what's so amazing. And so people are always like, well, there's nature and nurture. What is the noodle? And I said, nope, it's the heart space and the mind space that you are training yourself to, create that source and the change of vibration. And that's what I love that you do, Lesley, is you help people attach themselves to source, because so many people, we all like to think that we're so unique. And when we do it too far, we become apart from the universe. And my saying is like, don't fight the universe, become a part of the universe, because if you're a part of the universe and you work on yourself, everything unfolds for you more naturally, doesn't it?
Right. Well, we are the universe. We're one. We're all one. We're all connected. When you get to the quantum physics level, that's what the scientists are finding out. We're all connected. It's not just, spiritual, knowledge and wisdom. That spiritual stuff now is verified and studied now and by the quantum physicist. So it's all it's all connected. And so people had a lot of judgment with spirituality, but they always accepted the science. Well, now science is coming around. People like Bruce Lipton talks about epigenetics, about how, it's not just because you had cancer in your family doesn't mean you're going to have it, or if you have a cancer gene or whatever. It's how, what we think. There's a connection between our mind and our body and our emotions. Heart Math Institute talks a lot about the mind and heart connection and aligning the two. And then that's when you kind of have alignment with the universe.
Well, and when I think of science, my master's was in statistical analysis. So mine was a lot of data-driven learning. My undergraduate was business with a minor in psychology. And what I'm doing now is totally different than, what I thought I'd be doing in this part of life. That's that living those, 4 different lives. But, one of the things about science is really just uber observation. It's looking at data sets. It's like looking at bell curves. It's like making inferences upon certain hypotheses and, et cetera. And, here the thing is when it comes to true spirituality, it really is, we have thousands, if not millions of years of observations to know that the universe, it is spirit. It is a part of us. And all we're doing, even in science, is learning the universe through the observation of what we already knew through spirituality. And so what I think is really kind of crazy is now we're coming into this conversion where both sources, they're not opposing each other anymore. They're actually verifying each other now, aren't they?
Right, definitely. And the other thing is too, we're co-creators with the universe, right?
Yeah.
It's a partnership with the universe and that's how we create our reality. So that's important to know as well. And I guess that's part of, people understanding their power or becoming empowered by realizing, the divine within them. Mm-hmm. The phrase namaste, people hear a lot, and it translates to the God in me honors the God in you. So if people are living at that level of respect for each other, what a different world we would live in.
Well, and the word gratitude is this, it's the same principle. It's when we actually traded and when we were actually eye to eye. And I said it in one of our trainings. I said, you have salt, I have sugar. I give you, we trade our sugar and salt. We both raise our vibration in our trade. Gratitude is actually an expression where both people win, and all source becomes greater. And that's what you do as well. You teach people to harmonize with the with the universe around them. And here's the thing, everyone, newsflash, when you're able to do this also helps you in business. Because the other thing I tell my entrepreneurs when I'm when I'm consulting them, I always say, look, we work far too hard on what we do and not enough on who we are. The moment we start harmonizing and working, on who we are, what we do becomes so much easier. Because to know ourselves is to know what we do. And that's what I think is such a gift, through vibration. Lesley, you're going to be a part of this book number 4, 365 Days of Gratitude, which is actually 366 days because it's a leap year. So
Wow.
we're gonna hide an additional page in there, but it's my wife who gets that page because she's Irish, and that's when she asked me to marry her. So she's gonna get that page. She gets that extra page, that February 29th. But tell us, how did you come to deciding it's like, I have all these things I can do in life, but I want to be a part of this book series. I want to contribute within this community. I want to add to the art of connection. What were some deciding factors for you to become a part of this?
Well, when I found out about the book series was through one of your authors, Teresa Cundiff. I had interviewed her on my show before, and she interviewed me on her show. I found out about it. So I knew about it probably a couple of years ago, but I just wasn't ready to do it yet. And I was in a couple of other collaboration books over the last couple of years, and I'm like, oh, 2024 is coming up. And then I saw, I don't know what I saw. Must have seen something online or about the book. So then that's when I actually called you to find out about it, and was able to be part of it. But because it's gratitude, that was like key, because gratitude is one of the highest vibrating emotions that we can have. And that's one of the tips that I actually share a lot about how to raise your vibration, is by practicing gratitude. And you can do that a couple of different ways besides just thinking of, some things that you're grateful for. You can actually write it down, write down 10 things a day that you're grateful for. And, feel the feeling, because it is not just the brain and saying affirmations. You have to feel it. That's the secret, the feeling, visualizing what you want. And when that comes in alignment, and you just put out your intentions to the universe, let them go, trust, follow your inspired action day to day, what you need to do, whatever it is. So I would say it was an inspired, I was just inspired. A lot of times I'll just get a inspiration to do something. And so that, I was inspired to be part of this book.
Well, and what inspires me to work with you and to, kind of get you out there is, like I work with entrepreneurs. And one of the things, I learned from my mom, she said, you have to practice self-care to care. Because if you're not practicing your own care for yourself, it's really hard to care for others. And as an entrepreneur, as a dad, as a son, as a wife, as a mother, practicing self-care, it starts with self. And, the more that we understand ourselves, the more that we understand how we fit within the universe, the more we understand that, we have the power to change vibration, which you help do, everything becomes much easier. So I just want to, thank you for being a part of this, and I cannot wait to get to know you more.
And me too. I'm so excited to be part of this community of like-minded people. And, it's good. And this is what the world needs. We all need to raise our vibration, become together in unity, and create heaven on earth.
Absolutely. Again, everyone, I'm with Lesley Klein. She is of good-vibes.tv. Please contact her at Lesley@good-vibes.tv, or call her. You're brave too. 727-423-1224. Again, 727-423-1224. Lesley, thank you so much for being on the show today. I appreciate you.
Thank you for the opportunity, Robert. It's been wonderful.
Well, everyone, what a great show. I had 3 amazing, powerful, yet very grounded and loving, passionate people on the show today. I know everyone has things to do and places to go, but you chose this time and place to do it with us, and I want to thank you for it. Until next week, we meet every Thursday from 2:30 to 3:30 Arizona time, because we're that Maverick state. Until we see it again, have a great evening, everyone. Bye-bye.
You've been watching The Iron Entrepreneur Show, a production of the Iron Entrepreneur Radio Network, with host Robert W. Jones. Join Robert each week as he visits with new and exciting guests who inspire, teach, and mentor entrepreneurs worldwide. Follow Robert each Thursday at 1:30 p.m. Pacific, 4:30 p.m. Eastern, and 8:30 p.m. Greenwich Mean Time.